Hello my friends, in today's beginner-friendly tutorial, we're going to be creating this super fun notebook design. I'm really excited about this one because of all the different versions that you can make. You can customize it whether you're into rainbows or robots. Along the way, you'll master drawing straight lines, learn the easiest way to make gradients, and my favorite part, we'll end with a special reveal technique. The only thing you'll need for this project is this template I've made for you. You can grab it for free using the link below, or better yet, you can scan this QR code to download it directly to your iPad. All you have to do is find the camera on your iPad. From here, you're going to point it at the code and wait for the yellow link to appear before tapping on it. We can now hold down on the image to get these options and choose Save to Photos. All right, so now that you've got your template ready, let's open up Procreate and jump right in. To load your template, you always want to use Photo here in the corner. Okay, let's get into it. So we're going to go to our layers and we're going to go to the plus sign and start a new layer. Then you want to go to Gallery and just exit your artwork. This locks your layers. Okay, let's pick out the brush that we're going to be using. So we are in the classic library, which you can find right here. And then we're going to go to calligraphy on the left. And we're looking for our monoline here. But we're going to make our monoline a little bit smoother. So I'm going to tap on the brush and go to stabilization here on the left. And for these sliders, I'm going to take the first slider, turn it all the way up. And then there's 4 more sliders. We're going to put those just kind of in the middle. They don't have to be exactly 50%, just the middle is fine. Great, so we're going to hit done. And then let's pick out a black color. And this slider controls the size. So we're going to set our brush size to 15%. Now, of course, if you make a mistake, this is your undo button. To draw our notebook, we want to draw all the straight lines first. So on Procreate, if you draw a straight line and hold your pen down like this, you're going to get this nice shape here. So in this case, it is a straight line. So just watch my screen again. So I'm going to do something that looks like a line, and if I hold it really still at the end, you will get this straight line. So I'm going to go around. I'm actually going to avoid my corners, and I'm just going to start with all the straight lines that I can see. Now, if for some reason this isn't working for you, try putting your iPad flat on your table. Sometimes it doesn't pick up when your iPad is kind of on an angle. If you run into other issues, like if your pen stops working, I do have a bunch of helpful links below, so you can check those out if you get stuck. But this part is really fun because we're just activating our straight lines and drawing the outside like this. So you can kind of follow along with me here and kind of copy the same straight lines. And come back once you have them and I'll show you how we can handle the corners. So obviously you're going to want to pause this video as many times as you need to be able to catch up. Okay, great. So for the corners, what we're going to do is we're going to super zoom in like this. And you can see I've kind of also angled it. And then I can either just draw the corner like that, but if you're having problems with this step, what you can try doing is another shape tool. So I'll draw my arc and then hold my pen down, and it actually gives me more shapes. So now it's going to give me a shape like that. And then there's even another third secret. You can go to Edit. Edit only shows up when you make those shapes, and it will let you adjust them. You only get like one shot at this, and then it kind of disappears. But yeah, if I draw a shape, hold my pen down, you're going to see this Edit button here that lets you make like final adjustments. So those are kind of the 3 things you need to know about corners. And then we can complete those. Okay, great. So next I'm going to work on this label here. So again, I'm going to use my straight lines. And I just want to remind you that you can change anything you want about the template. This is your project, and if you have an idea, I would say follow your instincts. That's one of my favorite things about Procreate is that you can try things out and worst comes to worst, just tap on the undo button. So for example, if you want to change it from notebook to journal or a day in my life or to-do list, all of those are fair game. So the next thing we're going to do is color our notebook. And before we do that, we're going to go to our layers, and on layer 2, we're going to swipe left here, and you're going to see the duplicate button. So we're going to press that, and you can see you get 2 copies of the thing that you just drew, and we're going to use the bottom copy for coloring. Now, I want to do this nice gradient, so you can kind of think about what your base color is going to be. So I think I'm going to go with like a teal color today. I really like teal. And for the coloring, once you pick out your color, this little circle, all you have to do is drag it and drop it in, and it will fill in just this part. So we want to fill in these 2 sections here. Now, if your color spills out, you want to look for little gaps in your lines. Okay, so now for the gradient, we only want this part and this part colored in. And now we're going to use a feature called Alpha Lock. So if you tap on your layer, you're going to see Alpha Lock there. And what it does is it kind of protects the edges. So after we turn Alpha Lock on, we're going to tap on the layer again, and we're going to choose Fill Layer. Now it's not going to look like very much has happened, but that's an important step for the gradient. So make sure you do that. And then we're going to go to airbrushing, and let's use the first brush in this case, the soft brush. Great, and then for size, we're going to change it to maybe let's go 15%. And the best way to do a gradient is to grab your original color of your notebook and make it darker, and then pick whatever color you want. So the color should be darker here at the bottom. So it can be a different color as long as it's kind of darker than that first color. And then with my finger, I'm going to pick up the original color again, and this time I'm going to lighten it like this. So I'm going to go into the pastels, and then I'm going to pick my next color. So mine's going to be kind of like a yellowy. That's a little too light, but I'm on the right track, so maybe I'll go with something like this. So gradients always work best when there's 3 colors and when it goes from darkest to medium to lightest color. Wonderful, but we actually want it to be like a really nice soft blend. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our magic wand, and we're going to choose Gaussian blur. So you're going to turn it on, but to make it work, you have to swipe your pen to the right. The more you swipe it to the right, the more the colors are going to blend. So you can decide if you want to do just a little bit or a lot. Okay, great. So now we're ready to color the rest of our notebook. But before we do that, we have to go to layer 2 and remove the Alpha Lock. So the first thing I'm going to color is the pages. And to find that creamy paper color, you're going to go to the orange section here and find this kind of off-white. It might take you a few tries to get the right tone, but just keep trying. That color can sometimes be a little tricky for people. And then you can kind of pair this with whatever colors you have. So I'm going to do like a dark blue spine, and then maybe a lighter color for this notebook section here. And don't forget to color in your O's and your B's. It's very annoying when we have those little spots that are left behind. Okay, great. So if you need a little bit more time to color in your notebook, you can pause the video here. So the plan for today's project is that we're going to draw and color in the base of our notebook, and then I'll quickly show you how you can draw your designs on top, whether that's the ones that you're tracing from here or you're drawing your own things. And then from there, you're going to take over and add whatever you want to your notebook, and you're going to come back to learn how to do the reveal trick. Okay, let's jump into it. Okay, so let's talk about how you're going to add the designs to your notebook. So first of all, the most important thing about the designs is that we put them on a top layer here. So I'm going to press on the plus sign and create a new layer for every object that I'm creating. So let's do the first one together. So I'm going to pick out a black color, And then I'm going to go back to my monoline here and set my brush size to 1% so that I can draw a lot of detail here. And you can decide if you want to draw directly on the notebook, if you have your own ideas, or if you want to trace one of the pre-made designs that I have right here. So I'm going to draw my cloud here, make sure that there's no gaps, and then I can go ahead and color it. And when I'm ready to move it onto my notebook, I'm going to use the arrow right here and drag it down like this. Now here's a little trick for moving things around. If you try and touch the object or get anywhere near it, it might do this thing where it just gets bigger and smaller. It's very annoying. So keep your finger or your pen far away. See how far away my pen is from that object? And that will make it so much easier to move your objects wherever you want them. So I think I'm going to put my cloud here. And then before I start drawing anything new, of course, I'm going to start a new layer. And then one last tip that's going to be really helpful for designing this notebook is often you want to be able to duplicate something you've already created because you want to put it all over your notebook. So that is also very easy because all we have to do is swipe left on the layer and you already know about the duplicate button. So now I have two clouds and then I'm going to use the arrow and I can move the second object wherever I want. Now, if you forget to start a new layer and you accidentally end up with two objects on the same layer, let me show you how you can fix that. So as an example, I have these two clouds on the same layer and I want to move this one down, but watch what happens. They're linked together. There is an easy way to fix that. What you're going to do is you're going to go to the S tool here and set it to freehand at the bottom. And then you can just do a little circle around the object that you want to move. And this kind of isolates it. So now when I use my arrow, I can move it independently of that other object that I accidentally stuck on the same layer. So I think that's all you need to know to design the most amazing notebook. So I hope you have a lot of fun with that. And I'll meet you back here when you're ready to learn how to do the reveal trick. So enjoy the process of creating your notebook. Okay, wonderful. So welcome back. So let me show you how to do the reveal trick. But before we do that, we do have to create a nice background for our project. So what we're going to do here is we're going to organize our layers a little bit better. So I'm going to take my two fingers and I'm going to start squishing my layers together. Now make sure you're completely happy with your notebook before you start doing this, because it's very hard to go back. So you could go into your layers and duplicate the project. You could swipe left and duplicate that before squishing anything. But what I want to do is I kind of want to squish the entire notebook together. So make sure that you don't accidentally squish it with the template because that would kind of mess things up. Okay, great. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to just get rid of all this stuff here at the top. So I'm going to go to my wrench and go to canvas and I'm looking for crop and resize. So I'm going to go there and I'm going to use this little handle and pull down. I'm going to make the cut right there because I want my artwork to be nice and organized like this. So let's double check our layers. So this is what it should look like right now. You should have your notebook that you just finished drawing and then the original template here underneath. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to move this notebook, the original template, to the top. So you kind of have to hold down on the layer before the layers allow you to move. And if something goes wrong with either squishing layers or moving layers, you can always tap the undo button to go back. So it works with layers as well. And you can kind of already see what's going to happen. This notebook is covering it and we're going to be able to do the reveal that way. So let's turn off our notebook and then we can pick a custom color for the background. So I'm going to maybe pick like a purple color here. So you can pick whatever color you want. And then let's do a gradient for the background. I think that makes some really nice backgrounds. So we're going to start a new layer with the plus sign, and then this layer is going to move down underneath our notebook right here. And I'm going to add a gradient. So I already have my monoline picked out. I'm just going to make it 100% for size. And then I'm going to grab my original color and I'm going to make it a little bit darker and then change the hue. And I'm going to do this corner with a darker color I'm going to go back to my original color and then pick out a lighter shade, which is kind of hard for me to do because it's already so light. And then this corner is going to be this lighter color. But you could potentially draw whatever you want in your background. I'm going to then go to my magic wand and go to Gaussian blur and blend all these colors together. And now we're officially ready for the reveal. So let's turn layer 1 back on to cover things up. And then we're going to use our eraser for this. So let's open up the eraser. We're going to go to airbrushing. And then we're going to find the soft brush, which is usually the brush at the very top here. And then you can set your brush size to 25%. And then the reveal is really as simple as erasing the original template like this. So whatever template you're using in the future, think about whether it would work as a reveal. Now, you have to remember every time that you do this, you have to go back and reset it because otherwise you'll lose the ability to reveal. But as long as you remember to do that, then you're all set to show your friends and family. So that's how you do the reveal. If you don't see this little circle around your pen, you can check out the help library below. This is called the brush cursor, and you'll see instructions on how to turn it on. But yeah, this is one of my favorite ways to show my artwork. Okay, later Gator, and if you want more videos like this, subscribe.